Okay, let's jump right into this deep dive. We are undertaking a historical and, I guess, geographical mission today.
We really are. We're trying to track a single river that connects the foundational text of Hindu civilization, the Rigveda,
with the incredibly complex modern landscape of Waziristan in Pakistan.
It's an enormous chronological leap. When you, our listener, hear the name Gomal River today, you immediately conjure images of Pashtun tribes, the semi-arid mountainous terrain,
and all the geopolitical complexities of the borderlands near Afghanistan, Zhob, Haktika, Dera Ismail Khan.
Right. That is its powerful modern identity.
But the mission here is to trace the lineage of that river back, 3.5 millennia? To a world that looks completely different.
Completely. We're talking about the early Indo-Aryans, semi-nomadic pastoralists.
People focused on cattle wealth, who were composing these hymns. How do we square that ancient vision with the modern reality?
Well, that's the ultimate test of historical continuity. To the earliest Indo-Aryans, this very same 400-kilometer river, which starts in Afghanistan's Paktika province,
and flows southeast to the Indus.
It was not the Gomal, it was the Gomatī.
And that name, Gomatī, is just so revealing. It ties the river directly to the core values of the Vedic people, doesn't it?
It's the ultimate linguistic window. Gomatī comes from the Sanskrit root go,
which means cow.
It famously means cow, but it can also mean, water source, or even ray of light. So Gomatī translates as full of water.
Okay, that makes sense for a river.
But far more powerfully in that pastoral context, it means abundant in cows.
Wow. So the river wasn't just a physical landmark. Its name was a blessing. It was a promise of prosperity, really.
Precisely. This river was a vital artery within their sacred homeland, which they called the Sapta Sindhavaḥ.
And for anyone who might not be steeped in Vedic geography, the Sapta Sindhavaḥ is the famous land of the seven rivers.
The heartland of the earliest Indo-Aryan civilization.
So finding the Gomatī on that ancient map is critical. It tells us just how far west their world actually extended.
It establishes the frontier. And to locate that river with certainty, we go straight to the definitive source. The Rigveda itself, composed roughly between 1500 and 1200 BCE.
Let's unpack the textual proof then. The most authoritative geographical evidence comes from one single section.
The Nadistuti Sukta, or the Hymn of Praise to the Rivers.
Right, in Rigveda 10.75.
Oh.
This is basically an ancient geographical list organizing 21 rivers.
And the list is not random. It's a brilliant piece of sequential geography. The rivers are listed generally from west to east.
Almost like they're tracing their own migration path.
That's the idea. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Gomatī is mentioned in verse 6, and it's grouped with its near neighbors.
Tell us about that crucial grouping.
The poet names the Kuba,
which we know is the Kabul River.
Yes, reliably the Kabul River.
Yeah.
Then the Krumu, which is the Kuram River. Then the Gomatī. And finally, the mighty Sindhu, the Indus itself.
So that sequence is a geographical lock. It absolutely places the Vedic Gomatī in the Trans-Indus region, exactly where the Gomal River is today.
Through what was ancient Gandhara and Narakosia. It's an exact match.
So the poet composing this hymn was, standing on the western frontier looking east toward the rest of the subcontinent.
That's the interpretation scholars favor. It serves as a virtual GPS, and it underscores the Gomatī's position as a physical, political, and, a cultural boundary.
And they knew the area so well. They even knew the tributaries, right? I read that the Zhob River is in there too.
That level of detail is just a testament to their deep knowledge. Rigveda 6.27.6 mentions a river called the Yavyavati.
And that's the Zhob.
Scholars confirm that the Yavyavati is the modern Zhob River, a major tributary that feeds directly into the Gomal. They weren't just passing through, they had an intimate, settled knowledge of the entire hydrological network.
And beyond just being a line on a map, the Gomatī shows up in other contexts. It seems like it was a place of, action.
Correct. Rigveda 8.24.30 mentions the Gomatī in a context often associated with the god Indra.
The warrior god.
The warrior god, the one who establishes Arya order, the Vedic social and ritual framework. Its appearance there suggests the Gomatī territory was a crucial site where that cultural and political order was being actively established.
So the ancient map is crystal clear. The Gomatī belongs here, west of the Indus. But now comes the real challenge for historians.
The 3,500-year gap.
Exactly. How do we scientifically bridge the gap between the Sanskrit Gomatī, meaning prosperity, and the modern Gomal, which evokes a totally different world?
We use the rigor of historical linguistics and, geography. That doesn't change.
Let's start with the language. How does Gomatī become Gomal?
It's all about standard phonetic evolution. The Sanskrit Gomatī first shifted into Middle Indic languages like Prakrit or Pali. It became something like Gomat or Gomad.
So the final sound just dropped off.
Right, the unstressed vowel disappeared. But then something really interesting happens when that tit or in sound encounters the local linguistic environment.
You mean Pashto and other languages in that area?
That's the most fascinating and definitive step. In many languages in this specific region, a T or teed sound often naturally shifts into an ill sound.
Why does that happen?
It's a common phonetic change, sometimes called lateralization. So Gomad or Gomad predictably becomes Gomal. This isn't a guess. It's a standard, well-documented linguistic pedigree. It's robust confirmation.
That's powerful evidence. And geographically, of course, the river hasn't moved.
No. The location remains an exact match. West of the Indus, south of the Kuram, starting in high mountains.
So when you combine the linguistics with the geography from the Rigveda,
There's virtually no doubt left among historical geographers.
and the certainty, as you said, helps us map one of the most foundational events in South Asian history, that Indo-Aryan migration.
If you connect it to the bigger picture, the confirmed location of the Gomatī is a critical coordinate. Scholars like Michael Witzel use that river sequence as a kind of chronological map.
And the Gomal Valley sits right in that pathway.
Squarely in the path from the Afghan highlands down toward the subcontinent. Its inclusion proves this region wasn't just passed through. It was a central, settled, and significant frontier during the earliest Vedic period.
Which challenges the idea that the first Vedic centers were much farther east.
It certainly complicates that picture, yes.
So we've established the river's identity, but time is relentless. As the center of Vedic and later Hindu civilization moved east toward the Gangetic Plains,
The memory of these rugged northwestern rivers must have started to fade. They became geographically distant, culturally remote.
and that's the cultural drift we see in later texts.
Initially, the identity held fast. Even after the geographic center shifted, later Vedic texts from the Brahmasa period, like the Tandya Mahabrana, they still correctly listed the Gomatī among the northwestern rivers.
But by the time of the great epics, the region starts to feel different.
Exactly. In the Mahabharata, the Gomatī is mentioned in the context of military conquests by figures like Nakula.
So it's a distant land to be conquered, not home.
It reflects a historical memory, but it's now seen as a remote, almost mythical borderland of the expanded Arya world.
Then we get to the Puranas, and everything becomes sacred, deified.
The Gomatī becomes a river goddess. But this is also where we hit a snag, the problem of duplication.
The other Gomatī.
The other very prominent and sacred Gomatī River near Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. That conflation is the major challenge.
So why do scholars prioritize the western one? Why isn't the Lucknow River the original?
Because careful textual analysis shows the memory of the original Western River was never completely erased.
How do the texts keep the two separate?
Key Puranas, like the Vamana Purana and the Matsya Purana, are actually careful to distinguish them. They list the Gomatī of the Rigveda specifically as a western tributary of the Sindhu.
So they knew there were two.
They preserve dual identities, acknowledging both the sacred river in the Gangetic Plains and the original foundational river on the western frontier.
And even in its distant mythologized form, the ritual power of the original river seems linked to its ancient name, abundance.
A powerful continuity. Texts like the Sanda Purana still praise bathing in the Gomatī of the West, promising great merit, cleansing of sins, and, notably, prosperity.
It's a direct echo of the Rigveda.
The spiritual geography continues to honor the physical reality.
Let's pivot from the spiritual geography to the practical, because the river's role as a life sustainer is the unbroken line that ties the Rigveda to modern Waziristan.
Absolutely. Whether you're a pastoralist in 1500 BCE or a farmer today, water is survival. And the semi-arid environment of the Gomal Valley, well, it required ingenuity.
The source material mentions a kind of ancient engineering that made that abundance, the meaning of Gomatī, actually possible.
That's the Rod Kohi system. It's a highly ingenious method of floodwater harvesting that's still used today.
How does it work?
When the seasonal monsoon rains hit the mountains, you get these enormous, powerful bursts of water rushing down the Gomal. The Rod Kohi system involves building temporary earthen dams called bunds across the flood channels.
So you're essentially redirecting and slowing a flash flood.
Exactly. You temporarily block the water, forcing it to spread out across the arid plains, depositing a layer of fertile silt.
And that saturates the soil.
It saturates the soil, allowing crops to grow without relying on a constant river flow. This ancient engineering is what allowed early settlements to thrive there. It gave tangible, practical meaning to the name Gomatī.
So the engineers 3,000 years ago were literally proving the river's name correct. And that tradition of harnessing the Gomal continues right into the 21st century.
It completes the historical loop perfectly. The ancient, decentralized Rodkoti method has evolved into a modern, state-level mega project, the Gomal Dam.
Completed in 2011.
That's the one.
And what does it achieve that the simpler ancient methods could not?
Scale and control. The Kogi system worked for local settlements, but modern populations need massive, reliable year-round irrigation and hydroelectric power,
Which the dam provides.
It harnesses and regulates the river's flow for large-scale agriculture, sustaining hundreds of thousands of people. The core necessity, transforming a turbulent mountain river into a continuous source of life, is the same today as it was when the Vedic seers first named the Gomatī.
So what does this all mean? We started in modern Waziristan and, through linguistic clues and geography, traveled back to the Rigvedic frontier. We've shown that the Gomatī of the ancient composers,
A crucial marker for their migration and a source of wealth.
is the Gomal River of today. The river's story, preserved across these scriptures, shows how historical memory can bridge the spiritual imagination of a civilization with its physical reality.
And for you, listening, a thought to carry forward. The next time you encounter these ancient sacred texts, remember the Gomatī. Its legacy underscores a fundamental truth, that the sacred geographies we read about are not just metaphors. They are deeply rooted in real, vital landscapes that shape migration, define economies, and inform culture. Studying this river shows us that a profound continuity can persist for millennia, even as the dominant languages, religions, and populations change completely.
The flow of the water continues.
And the memory, in its many forms, flows right alongside it.